Hornets, and welcome today. I'm working on classwork number 5, U substitution with inverse trig number 3, and I'll be going through the even problems of this classwork. You are to do the odd problems on both sides. This is numbers 1 through 11 on the front, and then numbers 13 through 23 on the back. For those of you who are joining me and do not have this worksheet, let me give you a moment to take a screenshot. For those of you who are interested, I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see numbers 1 through 11, if at all possible, and give you the opportunity to take a screenshot. So this is part 1, working through numbers 2 through 12 in this first video. Okay, so once again, take a quick screenshot. All right, here we go. So we're going to be starting with number 1. And what I want you to notice in number 1 is that just as we saw before, we have a 3 squared minus a 4x cubed, the quantity squared. When we take the derivative, we get 12x cubed, or 12x squared, for our du. So if I do a replacement, I'm going to get u equal 4x cubed, so that du will then equal 12x squared dx. And I can now look at this as the integration of du on top, and then the square root of 3 squared minus u squared. This we know to be our arc sine, so we're looking at the arc sine of u divided by 3, and we're going to put our u as 4x cubed plus c. That's number 1. Number 2, same thing, except now we're looking at our arc tangent. Whoops, going the wrong direction. We're looking at an arc tangent because we have an a squared plus u squared. Our u in this case is going to be 3x cubed, so that our du will be 9x squared dx. And when we replace, we're going to have du in the numerator and 4 squared plus u squared. Once again, this is our arc tangent and gives us 1/4 the arc tangent, and then we have u over 4, and that's going to be 3x cubed divided by 4 plus c. And there we have our answer to number 4. Now you'll notice they go along very quickly. This one right here, we have our u squared. So we're looking at 5x to the 4th, the quantity squared, minus 5 squared. This is our u squared minus a squared, an arc secant. We know that our derivative, if we let u equal to 5x to the 4th, then we're going to have a du, which is 20x cubed dx. That means our du is on top. We have our u sitting in front, square root of u squared minus a squared, and this is our arc secant. We're going to have 1 over 5 times the arc secant. Now be careful, we need the absolute value in the numerator, 5x to the 4th divided by 5, plus c. And there is our answer to number 6. All right, this brings us to number 8. When working with number 8, we're letting ourselves see this as our u squared minus a squared. So we're looking at u equaling 3x to the 4th, and our du is 12x cubed dx. Direct substitution, we're looking at a du on top. We have u square root of u squared minus 1 squared. This is our arc secant. So we're looking at 1 over 1 arc secant absolute value, whoops, helps to spell it correctly, SEC, arc secant, and we have the absolute value of 3x to the 4th divided by 1 plus c. Now we're going to number 10. Now please be aware they did not put the parentheses in here. They should have. Okay, please be aware of that. So if I'm looking at the secant squared of negative 3x, I get negative 3 for my, so this is going to be my u, secant of negative 3x, so that my du will end up being negative 3 secant of negative 3x tangent of negative 3x dx. We can now put everything together, and we're looking at du. We have u square root u squared minus 1 squared. This is 1 over 1 arc secant, absolute value of our secant of negative 3x, absolute value close plus c. Here's our answer for number 10. Number 12. Once again, they did not put parentheses, and they should. When I give you a question like this, be aware I will give you that. So I can see that I have a 3 squared plus a tangent of negative 4x, the quantity squared, and therefore my u is going to be the tangent of negative 4x, which means that the du is going to be negative 4 secant squared negative 4x. I'm now going to put it together, and I end up with my du on top, 3 squared plus u squared. This is definitely an arc tangent. So we're looking at 1 over 3 arc tangent of our u, which is the tangent negative 4x divided by 3 plus c. Let's go ahead and continue since we're moving along quite quickly. We're going to do number 14 and then 16. Once again, they did not put parentheses around the negative 3. We need to see that. Okay, and it happens over and over and over again. So if I let u equal the secant of negative 3x, then du is negative 3 secant of negative 3x tangent of negative 3x dx. Therefore, I can now rewrite this as the integration du, u square root u squared, and we have minus 5 squared. This is my arc secant, 1/5, arc secant, absolute value of the secant of negative 3x divided by 5 plus c. Number 16. This right here is 4x squared, the quantity squared, so we know our u is 4x squared, making du 8x dx, and when I replace it, I end up getting du on top, and I have 1 squared plus u squared. This is our arc tangent formula, so I'm going to have 1 over 1 arc tangent of my u, 4x squared over 1 plus c. And there's my answer. This ends part 1 of the classwork number 5, working with the u sub with inverse trig number 3. This is part 1, and in part 2 I will be finishing with numbers 18 through 24 using substitution to find each indicated indefinite integral. Alrighty, thank you very much. I hope this was useful to you and will help you to finish your classwork number 5, odds only. Thank you very much. Be well and be safe. And next will be part 2. Thank you. Bye-bye now.